Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your daily dose of English, where learning English is easy, practical, and super fun. I'm Tom.
And I'm Sarah. Hi, Tom. Hi, everyone listening today. How are you feeling today, Tom?
I'm doing great, Sarah. I'm excited about today's topic because it's something that makes a lot of people nervous. And I mean really nervous, even native speakers. But before we dive in, we have a quick request for our amazing listeners out there.
That's right. If you're enjoying our podcast and finding it helpful for your English learning journey, please take a moment to share this episode with your friends who are also learning English. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode full of practical English tips.
And don't forget to give us a like. It really helps us reach more English learners like you. Okay, Sarah, are you ready to tell everyone what we're talking about today?
Absolutely, Tom. Today we're talking about something that almost everyone experiences at some point in their life. Your first day at a new job in English. The nervousness, the excitement, meeting your new co-workers, and understanding office culture when English isn't your first language.
Oh, wow, Sarah. This is such an important topic. I remember my first day at an English-speaking company. My hands were shaking, my heart was racing, and I kept thinking, what if I don't understand what people are saying? What if I make a mistake?
I totally understand that feeling, Tom. That first day can feel like you're walking into a completely new world. There's so much to learn, not just about the job itself, but also about how to communicate with your new colleagues, how to introduce yourself, and how to navigate all those unspoken rules of office culture.
Exactly. And for English learners, there's an extra layer of challenge because you're not just learning a new job, you're also doing it in a language that might not feel completely natural to you yet. So today, we're going to break down the first day experience and give you the vocabulary, phrases, and confidence you need to succeed.
That's right. We're going to talk about common situations you'll face, from introducing yourself to co-workers, to understanding what's happening during your orientation, to asking questions when you're confused. And we'll make sure you have the right words and expressions to handle it all smoothly.
Perfect. So let's start with the very beginning of the day. You wake up on that first morning and the nerves hit you immediately, right? You're probably thinking about what to wear, when to arrive, and what you're going to say when you meet people.
Oh yes, the morning of the first day is always intense. Here's a useful phrase for English learners. When you're feeling nervous about something upcoming, we say, I have butterflies in my stomach. This means you feel nervous or excited, like there are butterflies flying around inside you.
That's such a perfect expression, Sarah. So you might say to a friend, I have my first day at work tomorrow, and I have butterflies in my stomach. It's a very natural, native speaker way to express that nervous excitement.
Exactly. And here's a practical tip for that first morning. Arrive about 10 to 15 minutes early, not too early, not late. In English-speaking work culture, being on time is really important, but arriving too early can actually make things awkward because people might not be ready for you yet.
That's great advice. So if your start time is 9 o'clock, aim to arrive around 8:45 or 8:50. This gives you time to find the right building, use the restroom, and take a deep breath before you go in. And speaking of going in, let's talk about the very first moment when you walk through that door.
Right. Usually you'll check in with reception or security. Here's what you might say. Good morning, my name is, and then say your full name clearly. This is my first day. I'm here to see, and mention your manager's name or the person you were told to ask for.
Perfect. Let me give an example. Good morning. My name is Maria Silva. This is my first day. I'm here to see Robert Chen in the marketing department. Simple, clear, and professional.
Excellent example, Tom. And the receptionist will probably say something like, Welcome to the company. Please take a seat and someone will be with you shortly. Or they might give you a visitor badge to wear.
Right. A visitor badge is a small card with your name on it that you wear on your shirt so people know who you are. Sometimes they call it a name tag too. And then you wait. This can actually be one of the most nerve-wracking parts, just sitting there waiting. But it's totally normal.
It is. And while you're waiting, you might see other employees walking by. Don't worry if they don't stop to talk to you. They're probably busy getting to work. But if someone does smile at you, smile back. A smile is a universal language, and it helps you look friendly and approachable.
Absolutely. Okay, so after a few minutes, someone will come to get you. This might be your manager, someone from HR, which stands for Human Resources, the department that handles employee matters, or maybe another team member who's been assigned to help you on your first day.
Right. And when they come to greet you, they'll probably extend their hand for a handshake and say something like, Hi, you must be Maria. I'm Robert. Welcome to the team. In English-speaking cultures, especially in professional settings, a firm handshake is really important. Not too hard, not too soft, just right.
Great point, Sarah. And here's what you can say back. Hi, Robert. It's great to meet you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Or you can say, I'm looking forward to working with you. That phrase, I'm looking forward to, is super useful on your first day.
It really is. I'm looking forward to means you're excited about something that will happen in the future. For example, I'm looking forward to learning more about the company, or I'm looking forward to meeting the team. It's a positive, professional way to show enthusiasm.
Exactly. And enthusiasm is so important on your first day. Even if you're nervous inside, showing that you're happy to be there makes a great impression. So after the initial greeting, what usually happens next, Sarah?
Well, in most companies, especially larger ones, your first day will include something called an orientation. This is a session, usually a meeting or presentation, where they explain important information about the company, its policies, and what you need to know to get started.
Right. Orientation is such an important word. It comes from the verb to orient, which means to familiarise someone with a new situation. So the orientation is designed to help you understand the company and your role. It might last an hour, or sometimes it could be a full day or even several days, depending on the company.
During orientation, you'll probably fill out paperwork, like tax forms and direct deposit information for your paycheck. You might also get an employee handbook, which is a document that explains the company rules and policies. Don't be afraid to ask questions if something isn't clear.
That's crucial, Sarah. Asking questions is not a sign of weakness or confusion. It shows that you're engaged and you want to understand things correctly. Here are some polite ways to ask for clarification. Could you please explain that again? Or, I want to make sure I understand correctly. You said, and then repeat what you heard.
Those are perfect. Another good one is, "I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat it, please?" It's polite and it shows you're paying attention. Remember, everyone knows it's your first day, so they expect you to have questions.
Absolutely. Now, after orientation, you'll probably be taken to your workspace. This might be a desk in an open office, a private office if you're in a senior position, or a cubicle. Sarah, can you explain what a cubicle is?
Sure. A cubicle is a partially enclosed workspace. Imagine a small area with walls on 3 sides that are about 5 or 6 feet tall, and it's open at the front. It gives you some privacy, but you're still part of the open office. Many office workers in English-speaking countries work in cubicles.
Right? And you might hear people say, "I work in a cube," which is just a short, informal way to say cubicle. So when someone shows you to your workspace, they might say, "This is your desk," or "This is your cubicle," or "This is your office."
And they'll probably show you where to put your things, how to log into your computer, and where important locations are, like the restrooms, the break room, and the kitchen area. The break room is where employees go to take a break, eat lunch, or have coffee. It's usually a casual space with tables, chairs, a microwave, and a refrigerator.
Exactly. And in the break room, you might meet co-workers in a more relaxed setting. This is actually a great opportunity to practice your English in a low-pressure environment. Now let's talk about one of the biggest challenges of the first day, introducing yourself to your new co-workers.
Oh yes, this can feel so awkward, especially in English. But having a simple introduction ready in your mind can really help. Here's a basic formula. Start with your name, mention your role or department, and add one friendly detail. For example, "Hi, I'm Carlos. I just joined the marketing team today. I'm really excited to be here."
Perfect, Sarah. Short, friendly, and professional. You don't need to give your whole life story, especially in that first introduction. You can also add something like, "Please let me know if you have any tips for me. I'm still learning my way around."
I love that. It shows you're humble and open to help. And trust me, most co-workers are happy to help someone new. They remember what it was like to be new too. Now, Tom, what about when people introduce themselves to you? How should you respond?
Great question. Listen carefully to their name and try to repeat it back. "Nice to meet you, Jennifer." Or "It's great to meet you, David." If you don't catch their name the first time, it's totally okay to say, "I'm sorry, could you tell me your name again? I want to make sure I remember it correctly."
That's so important. People appreciate when you make an effort to remember their name. And here's a little trick. Try to use their name once or twice in the conversation. It helps you remember it, and it makes the interaction more personal. Like, "So, Jennifer, how long have you been with the company?"
Excellent tip. That's a great question to ask, by the way. How long have you been with the company? Or how long have you been here? These are natural, friendly questions that show interest in your coworker. Other good questions are, "What do you do here?" Or "What team are you on?"
Right. And people usually like talking about themselves and their work, so these questions can help start a conversation. But be mindful of time. If someone seems busy, keep it brief. You can always say, "Well, I don't want to keep you. It was nice meeting you."
Good point, Sarah. Reading social cues is important. Okay, let's talk about another first day situation. Your first meeting. On your first day, you might be invited to a team meeting or a one-on-one meeting with your manager. This can feel intimidating, but remember, nobody expects you to contribute a lot on day one.
Exactly. In your first meeting, your main job is to listen and observe. Pay attention to how people communicate, how formal or informal the meeting is, and what topics are discussed. You might want to take notes, which is always a good idea anyway.
Right. Taking notes shows you're engaged and you want to remember important information. And if you're introduced in the meeting, your manager might say something like, "Everyone, I'd like you to meet Sarah. She's joining our team as a marketing coordinator. Sarah, would you like to say a few words?"
And this is your moment. Keep it simple. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah. I'm really excited to join the team and learn from all of you. I'm looking forward to working together, that's it. Short, positive and friendly.
Perfect. And then you can smile and that's your introduction done. Nobody expects a speech. Okay, Sarah, let's talk about office culture, because this is where things can get tricky for international workers or people new to English-speaking workplaces.
This is so important, Tom. Office culture refers to the unwritten rules and social norms of a workplace. It's things like how formal or casual people dress, whether people eat lunch at their desks or in the break room, how people communicate, is it mostly email or face-to-face conversations, and what the social expectations are.
Right. And office culture can vary widely, even within the same country. Some offices are very formal, with people wearing suits and using titles like Mr. or Miss. Other offices are super casual, with people wearing jeans and calling everyone by their first name, including the CEO.
Exactly. The best way to learn the office culture is to observe. Watch what other people do. How do they greet each other? Do they knock before entering someone's office, or do they just walk in? Do people chat casually, or is everyone always focused on work?
Great advice. And here's another phrase you'll hear a lot in English-speaking offices. Feel free to. This is a polite way to give someone permission to do something. For example, your manager might say, "Feel free to ask me any questions," or "Feel free to grab coffee anytime you need a break."
That's such a useful phrase. And when someone says, "feel free," it means you have permission and they're being welcoming. Now, let's talk about lunch on your first day, because this can be another awkward situation. Should you eat alone? Should you try to join a group?
This is tricky, isn't it? Here's my advice. If someone invites you to lunch, definitely say yes. It's a great opportunity to get to know people in a relaxed setting. You might hear, "Hey, a few of us are going to grab lunch at the cafe down the street. Want to join us?"
And you can respond, "That sounds great. I'd love to join you. Thank you for inviting me." If nobody specifically invites you, you can take the initiative. Try asking a coworker who seems friendly, "I'm planning to grab some lunch. Would you like to join me?" The worst they can say is they brought lunch or they have other plans.
Exactly. And if you do end up eating alone, that's okay too. You can use that time to decompress and recharge. There's no right or wrong way to handle lunch on your first day. Just do what feels comfortable for you.
Good point. And speaking of comfort, let's talk about something that's really important: asking for help when you need it. On your first day, you will be confused at some point. You might not know where something is, how to do something, or you might not understand something someone said. That's completely normal.
It is, and the key is to ask for help in a polite, professional way. Here are some useful phrases. Excuse me, could you help me with something? Or, I'm sorry to bother you, but I have a quick question. Or, could you point me in the right direction? I'm trying to find the supply room.
Those are all perfect. And here's one more. I'm still getting my bearings. This is a great expression that means you're still learning where things are and how things work. For example, I'm sorry, I'm still getting my bearings. Could you remind me where the meeting room is?
I love that phrase. Getting your bearings means orienting yourself to a new environment. It comes from navigation, where bearings refers to your position relative to your surroundings. So when you're getting your bearings, you're figuring out where you are and how things work.
That's such a helpful phrase for your first day or even your first week. People understand that you're new and you're learning. Now, Tom, as the day goes on, you might start to feel overwhelmed. There's so much information coming at you, so many names to remember, so many new things to learn. How do you handle that?
That's a really important point, Sarah. Feeling overwhelmed is completely normal. Here's what I recommend. First, keep taking notes. Write down names. Write down where things are. Write down important procedures. Don't rely on your memory because you'll forget things, especially on day one when there's information overload.
Great advice. And second, take breaks when you can. If you're feeling mentally exhausted, it's okay to step away for a few minutes. Go to the restroom, get some water, take a short walk outside if possible. Give your brain a chance to process everything.
Exactly. And third, be patient with yourself. You're not expected to know everything on day one. In fact, there's a common saying in English. It takes time to learn the ropes. This means it takes time to learn how to do a job properly. The ropes refers to the skills and knowledge you need.
That's a great expression. So if you're feeling frustrated that you don't understand something yet, remember, you're learning the ropes. It's a process. And your co-workers and manager understand this. They've all been new before.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the end of your first day because this is important too. As the workday comes to a close, you might be exhausted, both mentally and emotionally. Your manager or a co-worker might check in with you and ask, "How was your first day?"
And this is a good opportunity to be positive and show enthusiasm. You can say, "It was great. There's a lot to learn, but I'm excited to get started." Or, "It was a good day. Everyone has been so welcoming and helpful. Thank you." Even if the day was challenging, try to focus on the positive aspects.
Right. And before you leave, make sure you know what time you should arrive tomorrow and what you should bring or prepare. You might ask, what time should I be here tomorrow? Or, is there anything I should prepare for tomorrow?
Good questions. And don't forget to say goodbye to the people you met. You can keep it simple. Have a good evening, or see you tomorrow, or thank you for all your help today. These small gestures of politeness make a good impression.
Definitely. And then when you get home, take some time to reflect on the day. Think about what went well, what you learned, and what you want to focus on tomorrow. And maybe review any notes you took so the information is fresh in your mind.
That's excellent advice, Tom. And here's one more thing. Be proud of yourself. Starting a new job in a language that's not your native language takes courage. You did something difficult today, and you survived. Give yourself credit for that.
Absolutely. You know, Sarah, I think we should do a quick vocabulary review because we've covered a lot of important words and phrases today. Our listeners might want to practice these.
Great idea. Let's go through some of the key vocabulary we talked about. First, we have orientation. This is the introduction session when you start a new job, where they explain company policies and procedures. Can you use it in a sentence, Tom?
Sure. My orientation is scheduled for 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Your turn, Sarah. Next word, cubicle.
A cubicle is a partially enclosed workspace in an office, often with 3 walls. For example, my cubicle is in the corner near the window. Okay, next one, break room.
The break room is a space in an office where employees can take breaks, eat lunch, and relax. I'll meet you in the break room at noon for lunch. Great. How about I'm looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to is a phrase that expresses excitement about something in the future. I'm looking forward to working with the team on this project. Love that phrase. Okay, what about feel free to?
Feel free to is a polite way to give someone permission to do something. Feel free to ask questions anytime you're confused. Perfect. And let's do one more. Getting your bearings.
Getting your bearings means familiarizing yourself with a new place or situation. I'm still getting my bearings, but I think I'm starting to understand how things work here. Excellent. These are all really useful phrases for anyone starting a new job.
They really are. And I want to emphasize one more time to our listeners. Your first day is just the beginning. You don't need to have everything figured out on day one. Every day will get easier as you become more familiar with your job, your co-workers, and the office culture.
That's so true. And remember, even native English speakers feel nervous on their first day at a new job. The language might be easier for them, but the experience of being new, of not knowing where things are, of trying to make a good impression, that's universal. You're not alone in feeling this way.
Exactly. And here's a final piece of advice. Be yourself. Yes, you want to be professional and make a good impression, but you don't need to pretend to be someone you're not. Your company hired you because they saw something valuable in you. Trust that and let your authentic self shine through.
Beautiful advice, Tom. And remember, every conversation you have, every email you write, every meeting you attend, it's all practice for your English. You're not just learning a job, you're improving your language skills at the same time. That's a huge accomplishment.
It really is. Okay, Sarah, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about the morning of your first day, arriving at the office, going through orientation, meeting co-workers, understanding office culture, asking for help, and ending the day on a positive note.
We did. And we gave our listeners lots of practical phrases and vocabulary they can use. Things like, I have butterflies in my stomach, I'm looking forward to, feel free to, and getting your bearings. These are all expressions that will help them sound more natural and confident in English.
Absolutely. And you know what? I'm really proud of anyone listening to this who's about to start a new job or who recently started one. Taking on a new job in English is brave. It's challenging. But it's also an incredible opportunity to grow both professionally and in your language skills.
I couldn't agree more. And we want to hear from you, our amazing listeners. Have you started a new job in English? What was your experience like? What did you find most challenging? What tips do you have for others? Please share your stories in the comments below. We love hearing from you.
Yes, please do. And if this episode was helpful, please give it a like and share it with anyone you know who's learning English or starting a new job. It really helps us reach more people who can benefit from this content.
And don't forget to subscribe to your daily dose of English if you haven't already. We release new episodes regularly with practical English lessons that you can use in real life. We're here to help you improve your English in a way that's easy, practical, and fun.
That's our motto. Easy, practical, and super fun. Because learning English doesn't have to be boring or stressful. It should be something you enjoy, something that opens doors for you, just like starting that new job.
Exactly. And remember, your English doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to communicate, to connect with people, and to do your job well. Perfection can come later. Confidence comes from practice. So true. All right, Sarah, I think it's time to wrap up this episode. But before we go, let's leave our listeners with one final encouragement. Absolutely. If you're about to start a new job in English, or if you're in your first week or first month, remember this: you belong there. They hired you for a reason. You have skills, knowledge, and perspectives that are valuable. Yes, the language might be challenging sometimes, but you're capable of handling it. Beautifully said, Sarah. And one more thing. Every single person in that office was new once. Every single person had a first day where they felt nervous and unsure. You're not alone in this experience. And before you know it, you'll be the one helping the next new person, showing them where the break room is and making them feel welcome. I love that. Okay, everyone, that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We hope you found this helpful and that you feel more prepared and confident for your first day at a new job in English. Yes, thank you. Keep practicing, keep learning, and remember, every day is an opportunity to improve your English. We believe in you and we're cheering you on. Until next time, take care. Goodbye, everyone. Good luck on your first day or your second day or whatever day you're on in your English-speaking job. You've got this. See you next time on your daily dose of English. Bye for now. Bye.